everybody, Gary here with Guitar Tricks, and in this video we're going to go over ghost notes. So ghost notes are little percussive in-between sounds that we make with our chords, with our single notes, and they add another layer to our playing and sometimes almost make it sound like we're playing with a drummer. Now for drummers, ghost notes are in between their big kick, snare, cymbal hits. They do these really soft in-between, almost brushes of the stick on the drum, and instead of hearing boo goo ga goo, you hear like boo cha goo cha. It's like these little in-between things going on. So that's where the word comes from. So I'm going to show you a few different ways that you could add these to your chords and to your single note playing. Before we get into the lesson, please go ahead and click subscribe so that you get all of the latest and greatest content from Guitar Tricks. And if you want to be notified of any new video that comes out, be sure to also tap the bell. So probably the easiest way to incorporate it is first to talk about with single notes. So you heard me play a funky line. It was something like just some sort of pentatonic thing. I think I was in B minor pentatonic. But let's just take one note. Let's take this note on the 9th fret of the G string. All right, this is the note E. So we're gonna take this note, and in order to get these little ghost notes in between, all we gotta do is mute this note, but pick the muted string. So in order to mute it, we just lift up the pressure without taking the finger off, and you get this percussive sound. So let's see if we can go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just alternate picking. This is gonna work really well with alternate picking when we start doing it. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Now let's try this. We're gonna mute on 3. I'm gonna count to 4. We're gonna mute on 3. 1, 2, mute, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Awesome. All right, let me teach you a phrase that uses this. We're gonna start on that same note, 9th fret, and we're gonna go from 9 to 7 like this. 9, 7, 7, 9, 9, 7, 7, 9, all in the G string. 9, 7, 7, 9, that's the notes E, D, D, E. But now we're gonna add some ghost notes in between like this. 9, 7, mute, 7, mute, 9, 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 9, 7, mute, 7, mute, 9. So I'm just lifting up that pressure. Awesome. Now you could do this with any line. If you have a riff, let's say you have a bass line goes. I'm just demonstrating. I might add some mutes in between. Right? So it's a way to just add another funky layer to your playing. So that's one way to do it. The other thing I did was with a chord. We can do it with any chord. Let's say we had a C chord. I can do things like this. So I'm going down, down, up, mute, 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 mute. And the way that I'm muting here is I'm lifting off pressure and I'm flattening out my fingers to deaden the strings. And this works especially well in funk music, you know, things like right? Mixing together the percussion with the sound of the chord. So one way you could do that to get a little more funky instead of with a C chord is take the 5th fret and just bar it with your first finger. And try to go like this. Play, 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 mute, 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 mute. Play, 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 mute, 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 mute. To mute, I'm just releasing the pressure but keeping those fingers on the string. Just enough to mute it. If you're pressing too hard, it'll sound like that if you're not pressing at all. So somewhere right in between, right? And then just experiment with going back and forth. And see what kind of rhythms you could create. So that's always something you could add to your chord strumming patterns. Right, so I'm just muting out the strings. With open chords, it's a little harder, so sometimes you have to use an extra finger like a pinky to flatten out over the strings, or just really flatten the hand out. Another thing you saw me doing was with my fingers, the slap. And most of the sound is going to come from the thumb. And usually you hear this on 2 and 4, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So one way this is going to sound good is if we do this rhythm. Let's take that C chord again. 1 and mute and 3 and mute and 1 and mute and 3 and mute. So we're going to play on the 1 and the end of 2. We're just going to pluck the strings with our fingers. So I'm using these 4 fingers to pluck the string, and then I just slap with my hand, trying to get that thumb, especially on those lower strings. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and... So we're playing on 1 and the end of 2, and we're muting on 2 and 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Right? So now it sounds like you got a little drum behind you. Now a technique that John Mayer really popularized was this, where I do this thumb slap, but I also use my fingers to kind of strum 1 note or 2 notes or 3 notes at the same time. So the thumb comes straight in and the fingers go down. This took me a while to getting the accuracy. I like to use my second finger, my middle finger, to do the kind of strum. Instead of all my fingers, I kind of do the second finger and the thumb. A lot of people do the first finger and the thumb. So like, that would be with the first finger. And I do it with the second finger. And then another thing you can do, fingerstyle, is just pluck certain strings while muting them to just get a little toot-toot. And this works better though not with open chords, because you can mute every note in the chord with a finger. Like, let's say we did a bar chord, like a G bar chord to an A minor bar chord. So it just gives a little doot-doot. And you could also do that with a pick. So as you can see, ghost notes are all about muting strings and using the strings like they're drums. And drums don't have pitch, right? They have a little bit of pitch, as do your muted strings, but they're not the note itself, right? This is the note. This is the percussive hit. This is the chord. This is the percussive hit. So using ghost notes is highly experimental. So I encourage you to experiment with this. Try to really work on your muting by lifting the pressure off the string. And then when it comes to strumming, seeing if you can get all the strings to be muted in between the strings ringing out. All right? And with the open chords, and then with the single notes. And you can get creative. You could run a scale. Let's say you're running the A minor pentatonic scale. You can do. All right, everybody, I hope this lesson was helpful. If you want to learn more about playing guitar and all different sorts of guitar techniques, head over to guitartricks.com. Have fun with this stuff, experiment, happy playing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.